A few years ago, I couldn't even spell simple English words. I almost gave up many times, but one small step changed my life forever. Today, I want to share how I turned my weakness into my passion and built a new life. This is not just an English lesson. It's a story of hope, family, and purpose. If you've ever felt lost, this video will give you the courage to begin your own journey. Welcome to Easy English Official. My name is Kaung Mayat, and I am very excited to share my journey with you. This video is more than a language lesson. It is my real-life story of how I went from being unable to speak English to becoming a teacher and a dreamer. I want you to know that if I can take the first step and change my life, you can too. Stay with me, listen carefully, and use my story as inspiration to start writing your own. Chapter 1. A 1,000-mile journey. Begins. When I first started learning English, I was full of doubt and fear. I looked at the alphabet and the simple words, but they felt like a mountain I could not climb. Every mistake I made felt like proof that I was not good enough. Many nights, I wanted to stop because I thought I was too old to start something new. Yet deep in my heart, there was a quiet voice telling me not to give up. That small voice became my only hope in a time of great struggle. I remember clearly the frustration of spelling even the most basic words. I could not write apple or book without making mistakes. My classmates laughed at me, and I laughed at myself sometimes, but inside, I felt pain and embarrassment. Every day became a battle with my own confidence. Still, I kept looking for answers, wondering if there was a secret way to break through. That search for hope led me to a book that would forever change my life. The book was not about English grammar or vocabulary. It was a simple book of wisdom. Inside its pages, I found a quote that spoke directly to my heart. It was from Lao Tzu, a Chinese philosopher who lived thousands of years ago. He said, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." Those words hit me like lightning. They were short and simple, but they carried the power to change the way I saw my life. I realized that I had been focusing on the mountain instead of the first step. I was overwhelmed by the idea of becoming fluent in English, but I had forgotten that fluency is just the result of many small actions. I understood that I did not need to learn everything in one day. All I had to do was start small and stay consistent. That truth set me free from fear and gave me the courage to continue. From that day on, I made a new promise to myself. I decided that no matter how busy or tired I was, I would learn at least 5 new words every single day. Sometimes I added 2 simple sentences to practice speaking. It did not sound like much, but it was something I could do without excuses. Slowly, the habit began to grow, and the progress started to show. Small steps became stronger steps. At first, I doubted if this small practice would make any difference, but after a few months, I noticed something amazing. I could recognize words that once confused me. I could understand short sentences that used to sound impossible. The small pieces were connecting together, and my confidence started to build. Every day felt like a new victory, even if it was just one word or one sentence. I began to see learning English not as a subject, but as a journey. Each word I learned was like a footprint on a long road. Each sentence I practiced was like a signpost showing me I was moving forward. I realized that progress is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it is quiet and invisible, but it is always there if you keep walking. The journey itself became more important than the destination. This new mindset changed the way I lived my days. I stopped comparing myself with others and started competing only with myself. My goal was no longer to be perfect. My goal was simply to be better than yesterday. That small change in thinking gave me freedom and joy. I felt proud of every step I took because I knew that each step brought me closer to my dream. There were still hard times, of course. There were days when I felt tired, frustrated, or even hopeless again. But the quote from Lao Tzu always came back to me. I remembered that one small step was enough for today. I did not need to run a marathon in one day. I just needed to keep walking. That thought gave me peace and the strength to continue, even in the darkest moments. The more I practiced, the more I realized that learning English was not only about the language. It was about discipline, patience, and hope. It was about teaching myself to believe in the power of small actions. English became the mirror that showed me who I was becoming, stronger, more determined, and more resilient. It was no longer just about words, it was about my character. One of the greatest lessons I learned was that the first step is always the hardest. Starting something new feels scary because we see everything that could go wrong. But once you start, the road becomes clearer, and courage grows naturally. I experienced this truth deeply, and I wanted to share it with others who felt the same fear. I wanted them to know that they were not alone, and that change is possible. So this was the beginning of my journey, a journey that started with pain, but grew into purpose. I began as someone who could not spell simple words, but I slowly became someone who could believe in himself again. The first step was small, but it carried the power to change my entire future. Looking back now, I can see that the hardest moment was not learning English itself. The hardest moment was simply deciding to begin. Chapter 2: My World, Family, and Identity. When I look at my life today, I know that my true identity is not only about what I do, but about who I love. My family is at the heart of everything I am. They give me strength when I am weak, and peace when the world feels too heavy. Without them, my journey would feel empty. With them, every day feels meaningful and alive. I am proud to say that I am a husband and a father. These two roles define me more than any job title ever could. My wife is not only my partner, but also my greatest supporter. She reminds me that I am capable even when I doubt myself. She gives me encouragement, and her belief in me is often stronger than my own belief in myself. Our marriage is far from perfect, but that is what makes it beautiful. We are two different people, yet we choose to love and respect each other every day. We laugh together, argue sometimes, and forgive each other quickly. It is this imperfect journey that makes our bond so real. Love is not about perfection, it is about commitment. And that commitment has shaped my life more than I can express. The greatest gift we share is our daughter. Her name is Law Woon, and she is the brightest part of my life. Watching her grow has been like watching a flower open in the sunlight. Every day she surprises me with her questions, her kindness, and her curiosity. She teaches me more about patience, love, and responsibility than any book ever could. There is a quote that always comes to mind when I think about her. William James once said, "Children are the living messages we send to a time we will not see." These words remind me that raising her is not just about today. It is about preparing her for a future where I may not be there. This thought makes me value every moment I spend with her. I often think about the lessons I want her to remember. I want her to know that success is not about money or fame, but about kindness and courage. I want her to see that mistakes are not the end, but the beginning of learning. Most of all, I want her to grow up knowing that she is loved deeply, no matter what. That love will be her foundation in life. My family has not only given me joy, but also direction. Before I became a teacher, I worked in jobs that did not truly satisfy me. I earned money, but my heart was restless. I felt like something was missing. It was my family who made me realize that life is not just about survival. Life is about purpose. That realization pushed me to make one of the biggest decisions of my life. I chose to leave behind the comfort of a safe job. It was not an easy choice, and many people thought I was making a mistake. But my wife stood by me, and my daughter gave me the courage to dream. I knew that if I wanted to teach her about bravery, I had to show it myself. So I stepped into the unknown, ready to create something meaningful. It was scary to take that leap, but it was also liberating. I felt alive in a way I had never felt before. My family's trust in me became the foundation of my courage. I no longer felt like I was walking alone. Every risk I took felt lighter because I carried their love with me. That love became my shield against fear. Looking back, I realized that my family is my true wealth. They are the reason I wake up early and the reason I work late into the night. Every video I create, every lesson I prepare is inspired by them. I want to build a life where they can see the power of following a dream. I want them to be proud not only of what I achieve, but of the values I live by. Family is not always easy. There are disagreements, struggles, and sacrifices. But it is in those difficult moments that love grows stronger. Each challenge we face together becomes a lesson in patience and forgiveness. Each moment of laughter becomes a memory that lights up even the darkest days. These are the treasures I hold closest to my heart. So when I think about who I am, I know the answer is simple. I am not defined by titles, achievements, or possessions. I am defined by the love I give and receive within my family. They are my world, my foundation, and my identity. Without them, my journey would lose its meaning. With them, I know I can face any challenge life places in front of me. Chapter 3. My Passion, From Work to Purpose. For many years, I worked in jobs that seemed fine on the outside, but left me empty on the inside. I followed the routine of going to work, earning money, and coming back home. Yet I felt like something important was missing. My heart told me that I was meant for something greater, but I was afraid to listen. I did not want to waste my life, but I also feared change. This silent struggle grew heavier with every passing year. I remember sitting at my desk one evening asking myself, is this really all there is to life? That question echoed inside me and would not disappear. I wanted to make a difference, to feel that my work mattered beyond just a paycheck. It was not enough for me to survive. I wanted to live with purpose. That desire became a fire that burned brighter every day until I could no longer ignore it. Around that time, I came across a powerful quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. These words struck me deeply. They made me realize that happiness is not the goal, but the result of living with purpose. This changed everything for me. I decided that I no longer wanted to be just an employee. I wanted to create, to serve, and to help others grow. English had once been my greatest weakness, but it was now becoming my greatest strength. I saw an opportunity to use my story and my struggles to inspire people who were just like me. This was not just a career shift, it was a calling that touched my soul. So I made the bold decision to leave my old job. It was terrifying to let go of security and step into uncertainty. Many people thought I was foolish, and some even laughed at me. But I knew that if I wanted to live with passion, I had to take the risk. My heart told me that teaching English and motivating others was the path I was meant to walk. When I started teaching full-time, I felt alive in a way I had never felt before. Each lesson gave me joy because I knew it could change someone's future. Every message from a student telling me they had learned something new became fuel for my spirit. Their success became my success, and their growth gave my life a sense of meaning I had been searching for all along. This passion soon grew into something larger than I expected. I created my YouTube channel, Easy English Official, as a way to reach more learners around the world. It was not just about videos or lessons, it was about building a community. I poured my heart into every upload, hoping that someone, somewhere, would find hope and courage through my words. The work was not always easy. I spent long hours planning, recording, and editing. Sometimes I felt exhausted and wondered if it was worth it. But then I remembered the students who depended on me, the comments of gratitude, and the belief that small actions create big change. Those thoughts kept me moving forward, even on the hardest days. Slowly, my channel began to grow. More and more people joined, not just to learn English, but to find motivation for their own lives. It amazed me to see how far my story could reach, crossing borders and cultures. This showed me the true power of passion. When you do something with love, it can inspire people you may never even meet. Through this work, I discovered that teaching is not just about transferring knowledge. It is about building confidence, creating hope, and reminding people of their potential. I wanted my students to see that they were capable of greatness, just as I had discovered for myself. This vision gave me endless energy to continue, no matter the obstacles. Looking back, I see that leaving my old job was the most important decision I ever made. It was not easy, but it was necessary. I traded security for meaning, and in return, I found a life filled with passion and purpose. I am no longer afraid of the unknown because I know that true growth always begins outside of comfort. My passion for teaching has become my life's work. It is not simply what I do, it is who I am. Every video, every lesson, every word I share is a piece of my heart. This journey has proven to me that when you follow your purpose, the world opens doors you never imagined. My work is no longer just a job, it is the story of my soul. Chapter 4. Your story, your journey. As I share my journey with you, I want you to understand something very important. Your story matters just as much as mine. Every person carries a unique path filled with struggles, dreams, and lessons. You may think your life is ordinary, but within that ordinary story lies extraordinary strength. The key is to recognize it and to begin writing it down step by step. The scariest moment in life is often the first step. We imagine failure before we even begin, and that fear keeps us frozen in place. But I have learned that once you start, the road becomes clearer with every step you take. Courage does not appear before action. It grows because of action. You must move first, and then the fear will slowly fade. One of the best ways to begin is to write about yourself. It does not need to be perfect, and it does not matter if your grammar is wrong. All that matters is that you put your story into words. Writing gives your thoughts shape and your dreams direction. It allows you to see yourself clearly, and that clarity is the beginning of transformation. After writing, the next step is to speak. Stand in front of a mirror and say your sentences out loud. Introduce yourself with confidence, even if your voice shakes. At first, it may feel strange, but every confident speaker you admire once stood where you are now. The difference is that they practiced again and again until their fear turned into strength. Remember the simple truth: practice makes perfect. Every time you repeat a word, every time you speak a sentence, you are building muscle in your mind. Just like an athlete trains their body, you train your voice and your confidence. Success does not come overnight. It is the sum of small efforts repeated every single day. This is why I encourage you to see learning not as a duty, but as an adventure. When you approach it with curiosity, every new word becomes a discovery. When you practice with joy, every sentence becomes a victory. Learning is not a punishment. It is a gift you give to yourself, a tool that will open doors for your future. I believe that each of you has a powerful story waiting to be told. Maybe it is about your family, your struggles, or your dreams. When you share your story, you not only inspire yourself, but also others who may be walking the same road. Your journey can become the light that guides someone else through their darkness. Do not underestimate the value of your first step. You may think it is small and unimportant, but it is the foundation of everything that follows. Without the first step, there can be no journey. Without the beginning, there can be no ending. Each great achievement in history started with someone daring to start, just like you can today. The road will not always be easy. There will be days when you doubt yourself and moments when you want to quit. But remember this: strength is built in the struggle, not in the comfort zone. Every time you push forward despite the difficulty, you grow stronger, braver, and closer to your dream. If you ever feel lost, remind yourself why you started. Hold on to your vision of the future and the reason you took that first step. Motivation will not always be there, but discipline will carry you through. The habit of daily action, no matter how small, is what creates lasting change in your life. Your journey is yours alone, but you do not have to walk it alone. There is a community of learners, dreamers, and believers who are ready to walk with you. I am honored to be part of your path, to guide you with my words, and to cheer for your progress. Together, we can remind each other that anything is possible with consistency and courage. So today I challenge you to begin. Write your first sentence, speak your first word, and take your first step. Do not wait for the perfect time, because the perfect time is now. Your story is waiting to be written, and your journey is waiting to unfold. Believe in yourself, because I already believe in you. The next chapter of your life begins today. Thank you so much for watching Easy English Official and for walking this journey with me. I believe in you, and I know that small daily actions can create big success in your life too. If my story inspired you, please like this video, leave a comment about your own journey, and subscribe to my channel for more lessons that will change not just your English, but your future. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, so take your step today.